Hey guys, sorry for the long delay. Welcome back. And yeah, this is the Arapaima care guide. It took me longer than I thought because I really had to compile old footage from like even my old account to get footage of them when they were babies till now. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow me, and visit the Facebook page to check out the discussions. Always a good time chatting with you guys. Just a quick special shout out to a couple of loyal fans. Check out their YouTube pages, Asian LeFool, Moro Mandiram, Crazy Fish Guy. Check them out. They got pretty cool original footage. Support the young guys. Hey guys, this guide will pretty much comprise of just a full care guide of everything you need to know about Arapaimas, and it'll show the growth rate of how mine were babies 2 years ago to where they are now at 6 feet plus, so they're not even fully grown, but everything you need to know should be here. Just a warning, if you don't have the means in terms of the money or the size of the enclosure, do not buy these fish in the hopes of upgrading tanks later because you won't have the time. Just over 2 years ago, I got these two little babies from a pet shop, and back then it was a lot easier to get them. They're a lot more endangered now, but yeah, they usually come in a small size, so don't be fooled, they get huge. As you can see from this video, I fed them like small baby koi because I didn't want to train them to eat dead food when they were so young and risk starving them. So I made sure they got a proper meal before the actual starvation process where you train them. Make sure they get a bit of size and girth so they're strong. And then you can get them onto, dead small fish, high protein pellets, shrimp and prawns, creepy crawlies even. I prefer that to live fish because there's a lot less chance of disease, so definitely try and train them. They're not that hard to train since they're pretty greedy. As for housing, in the future they're going to need a over 10,000 gallon pond minimum, and that's not even considering your footprint of the pond because obviously that's more important than the gallonage. But I guess as a baby you can grow them out in maybe 400 to 600 gallon tank just temporarily. It'll only last you like less than a year max. And yeah, as for tank mates, basically you have to go for calm fish that are big as well, not too aggressive but big, and but that can actually compete with them when it comes to feeding. So when I say get big aggressive eaters, I don't mean aggressive as in like we'll pick on them. I mean aggressive eaters that can compete with them for food. Otherwise, the Arapaimas will just outcompete them, and you get a huge size disparity. So you gotta keep them with other fish from the Amazon. I think that's the easiest things, like maybe silver arowanas, pacus, stuff like that. Try and keep it natural, and things will usually work out for the better. Just to warn you, if you keep them with anything they can potentially swallow or almost kill, they probably will, so don't do that. As you can imagine, these guys are pretty temperamental in terms of how aggressively they feed, especially during feeding time. Most of the time they're pretty calm. Well, obviously they beg you like dogs for food constantly, but during feeding time it's just chaos, and they can actually, like, with their immense size and strength, they can actually accidentally kill certain fish when they bash into them. And in fact, I think it's happened to some of my small feeder fish before. Like sometimes I find like a floating one dead, and I think it's because of trauma really from getting whacked by him. So they are bullies and they do tend to jump, so be wary of covering your tanks properly. An example of their jumping can be seen here when you see I tried to measure him for the first time at 5 month mark, and man, he just totally jumped out of this bucket. I put too much water, that was my mistake. As for the climate, they do well in warmer climates since they do come from the Amazon, which is a predominantly warm tropical climate. So definitely do not keep them below 72 degrees Fahrenheit in terms of water temperature, which is around 23 or 24 degrees Celsius around there. And if they stop eating because of the cold, you know that something's wrong. Because, the colder it gets, the less fish eat. But these guys, as long as they're eating, they're usually okay. But yeah, don't keep it below 72. That should be the absolute minimum temperature. So just be wary of this. And they have died from low temperatures quite easily, so be wary. As for max size, these guys commonly reach 10 feet in like large aquaria or giant ponds that people have. But they have documented to be over 15 feet. However, this is currently unsubstantiated in like modern day times because of overfishing. The big ones are easily seen and easily hunted by tribesmen in the Amazon or even commercial fishermen, so you don't really tend to find the large ones. But you know what, the Amazon's so big, I'm sure they're out there. Even Jeremy Wade can't find a 15-footer though, so they're probably out there, but we have to be wary that they are getting endangered. So if you have to buy it, only buy it from breeders. and you can see their growth rate's pretty crazy. If you just watch the clips from this video, I kind of document the size at certain time intervals, and yeah, they get huge. The first year they already get to 4 feet. That's why I say even in a 600-gallon tank won't even last a year. It'll probably only last you like 7-8 months. So you really need a pond. You can't buy an Arapaima with the hope of upgrading later. It's just not gonna do. And as for them being endangered, they are currently like facing more and more rare due to overfishing in commercial fishing. However, there are a lot of like commercial farms now because they are a viable food source. So if you do absolutely have to buy an Arapaima, make sure that it's from a commercial breeder. I actually did that because I actually got mine imported from a breeder that bred them for food. So I knew that I wasn't taking them from the wild. But in a sense, yeah, I guess I wouldn't even buy them today because I know how endangered they are. But I bought them a long time ago, and that's the only reason why. My fondest memories of Arapaimas will probably be their immense feeding. You can see from this video, like some underwater footage. It's just amazing how aggressively they feed. And it never ceases to amaze my guests that come to my house, whenever they're like, wow, what is that huge fish? And then I'm like, oh, check this out. And I always take a handful of pellets or maybe a bit of fish meat and I throw it right at their mouths, and you just hear a boom, like a huge like bang. And it's basically caused by the giant amounts of air sucked in by the fish when they suck in the food, and it never ceases to amaze me how impressed my guests are whenever this happens. So, and just overall the immense size that really impresses people, because I mean, you don't really see an Arapaima, a huge fish like that, every day in a home aquarium. So I guess it's just the shock factor and how they follow me around like dogs. They're always hungry. You get really attached to them for sure. And obviously I have future plans. I have a 13,000-gallon pond, but for me, because my footprint isn't the best, because I go around the corner, my pond isn't as big as it could be. So for that, I have two 50 by 20 feet ponds planned for the future, and this should be sufficient for their full lives. So I am prepared, and they'll be complete within the next few months or so. And basically, yeah, that's pretty much my plans for the future. And I think the gallonage, I'm not even sure, but I think combined the two ponds are like over 100,000 gallons, because it's 50 by 20 by 5 feet deep each. So I'm not sure. And they'll be kept in one side of the pond, so they'll have 50 feet all to themselves, with probably just like the paku and I think the paku and the prune shark, probably just other big aggressive feeders. I don't even know if the prune shark can be with them, because right now they seem to be out competing everyone in my pond, especially the garfish, who kind of struggle to like juggle the fish in their mouth sometimes when the Arapaimas can just suck them up and just take everything. So I definitely need to consider which fish I put them with, because I want all my fish to have a fair shot at growing large. This is just some quick footage here showing that they can literally be trained to eat anything, unlike a lot of other fussy predators. And these are just basically just normal wheat germ koi pellets. And obviously, there's probably not a high enough protein content in there to be great for predators, but this is just part of their diet to kind of round off the whole balance. So it's not bad, and they can literally be trained to eat anything. So you can see for yourself. As you can see from this video, man, at over 2 years long now, they're currently over 6 feet. You can see a bit of a bulge there, and you see the red developing, because when they get big, they get a lot of red, so I'm really happy about that. And the next video, because I've been getting a lot of like private messages through my Facebook account about people asking, how come my arowanas are so tame, and how come I can always pet them, and they're always really chilled around me. And I guess, I can't say that happened naturally, because fish are not naturally, especially arowanas, usually quite skittish. But I have a couple of things that I did with my fish that I'd like to share with you guys, and hopefully it'll help you guys build a better bond with your fish. Because honestly, the more you interact with your fish, obviously the more you'll care, and the stronger your passion will be for the hobby. So hopefully it's a win-win situation for both you and your beloved pet. So I think it's definitely something worth mentioning. So this will probably be my next video, so it's just a little sneak peek of what I'm about to do in the near future. Thanks so much for the support, and if you guys have any questions, post them in the comment section below. Or better still, send me a private message through my Facebook or YouTube accounts, because I check those regularly. I don't, and just a little shout out, I don't check my old channel TLKMDN anymore. So if you guys have any urgent questions, definitely don't go there. Message me at My Aquatic Diary or my Facebook page. And yeah, don't forget to like the Facebook page so you can get constant updates and pictures and updates and other updates and everything. Thanks guys, peace out.